coming now. Can she run as controlled as she did in the 800 metres? Here comes Kelly Holmes. There's a lot of pushing and shoving. It's on the shoulder. I didn't seem to have much, but she's going to go with Kelly. Kelly coming on the outside. Looks so easy. Has she got enough in the home straight? Hayetska tries to move out, but Kelly looking round to see where the danger is. It doesn't appear to be too much. Now she's got to push on. Now she's got to kick for home. Kelly Holmes going for 2 gold medals. It's going to be an historic second gold. Kelly Holmes for Great Britain wins the 1500 metre title. What a performance. 3:57.
Okay, there's got to be a more slick way of getting a video onto here, but I just really wanted to show that she's one of my people that I find so inspiring. 2004 Athens Olympics, she did the double. She won the 800 and she won the 1500, and she's been well documented in talking about her struggles with mental health. She's been involved in self-harming, and she found that through exercise, one of those things helped her self-manage her mental health. And so it is exercise that really this video is going to be sort of like talking about. Now I know for some of you straight away that's going to be bringing you out in a cold sweat, but really when we sort of like, we're not talking about being competitive, we're not talking about competitive sport or being an Olympian, but looking at really what role exercise can have in helping us self-manage our mental health. So when it comes to factors for anxiety and depression, we can't get away that it's things like social isolation, poor diet, focusing too much money or our image. But one of the factors is going to be inactivity. It is that this body has been designed, it's evolved over millennia to move. And when we don't use the body in the way that it is evolved to, that is going to be having an effect on the way that we think and the way that our mental health is. Now, more and more scientific studies are coming out now, trying to see the link with our mental health. We know that doing exercise is going to help us physically. It's going to give us better aerobic capacity and hopefully make us stronger in terms of fending off illnesses and things like that. But more evidence is now coming out in terms of how it affects our mental health as well. I really want to quickly go through 6 benefits of exercise, and some of it is going to be more sort of biological, and some of it is going to be more psychological about how exercise makes us think. So the first one is really it does release feel-good hormones like endorphins. Now some people talk about a runner's high. I've never experienced that, but what I have experienced that when I have done exercise, then I feel better about myself after I have done it. And there's what endorphins do, is it just makes you feel better about yourself. It also reduces stress hormones like cortisol. Now cortisol is not a bad thing, we need it to survive, but what we don't need it is for it to be pumping into our body all the time. We need it to be reduced. If we're suffering from anxiety, then cortisol is one of those hormones that we need to reduce. Secondly, it is focusing on exercise enables some people not to focus on the current situation that they find themselves in. And this leads to the third benefit about doing exercise can help people stop that damaging self-talk that we have where we're putting ourselves down all the time. Damaging self-talk is something that I get involved in an awful lot, and I find that exercise enables me to not do that because I'm focusing on the exercise, I'm not focusing on the self-talk. So that helps me. It might not help everybody, but I know that helps me. It also, this is going to be counterintuitive in that doing exercise, it energizes us. Now I'm not talking about doing a marathon. If you're doing a marathon half marathon, you're going to be flat out, you're going to be absolutely shattered, and you're not going to be able to do anything for a long time. But we're just talking about maybe going out for a brisk walk for 30 minutes a day. Energizes you, and people have found that then they're more likely to interact with other people. And remember, social isolation are another factor when it comes to people when we're suffering anxiety and depression. Studies have also now come out and showing that exercise can have the same effect as people who are taking antidepressants. Now, big warning here, if you are taking antidepressants and stuff like that, do not stop. Repeat, do not stop taking them. You need to have a conversation with your doctor. That is something that you are talking to the expert about when it comes to antidepressants. But what the scientific studies are showing, that the benefits of exercise are real. They're not just something that have been made up because people have just felt good because they've done some exercise. So that's something we need to take into account. And what they've also shown, the sixth thing, benefit, is that people who continue doing the exercise for a year, they found less likely the depression, anxiety returning. Now it's less likely. None of these things are 100% cure-alls. You do exercise, you're going to be fine for the rest of the life. None of these things are. None of these things that we're going to be talking about in the videos are like that. It's about recognizing when we're struggling and what can we do to self-manage our mental health. And what is coming out of the studies clearly is that physical exercise, there is a link between doing physical exercise and enabling people to manage their mental health in a positive way. Now, it is going to be finding something that meets your requirements. Not everybody wants to be a runner. Not everybody likes to be involved in competitive sport. So when we're talking about exercise, we're talking about finding something that is sustainable. Because remember that sixth one, if you do exercise for a year, it's less likely to come back. It still might, but it's less likely. So you need to find something that you can do regularly. So if you're into competitive sport, we literally are talking about going out for a brisk walk for 30-40 minutes a day. That's all. That's it. And it needs to be something that is raising your heart rate. So ambling along, it's nice to be out in the countryside, and that will have benefits as well. But if you can find something that raises your heart rate, whether it's going for a bike ride or going for a brisk walk for 30-40 minutes or running, we are a little bit limited at the moment. So, competitive sport, if that's what you're into, we know that's not on the cards at the moment. But it's finding something that is sustainable, not just for 1 or 2 weeks, but for maybe it's like a lifestyle change. So again, we're not talking about an Olympian. If you go out for a long run for say 2-3 miles and you go as hard as you can and you got your hands and you feel absolutely awful, you go, I never want to do that again. So choose something that is going to fit into your lifestyle and that raises your heart rate, gets you moving, and scientific studies are coming out showing that is going to help us manage our mental health. So we've known for years really that exercise is going to help us physically. We know that, but like I say, the studies are now coming out that it can help us with our mental health positively. So it's something worth trying, isn't it? It's something we could do by ourselves, and we can try and see how effective and how it affects us. Like I said, everybody's different, everybody's going to react differently, everybody's going to find something different to do. And so these are just ideas that we're throwing out to actually say, let's try this. Science says it can help, so let's see if it's going to help you. So like I say, find something that works for you, something that is sustainable. Don't forget the warning there. If you are taking tablets, carry on doing that, okay? And do some exercise as well, okay? Those tablets are for the experts to be dealing with. This is the level of self-managing, okay? Clearly, exercise is something that we need to look at if we're serious about thinking, I want to self-manage my mental health. Okay then, good luck.